We haven't talked about this yet, and you were asking me a little bit about that, is, hey, where is it going to keep track of the PTO balances and stuff like that? So we haven't quite addressed that yet. Hey, how do the system track PTO balances and how do that work? And we haven't really set anything up and or discussed that quite yet. So what I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that since your union guys got their own darn vacation stuff, that the field is not applicable to this.
Just one.
Just one guy within the field has kind of that little thing. Yeah.
Okay, so that could be changing though, because starting January 1st, the state is starting a new law that we have to accrue PTO. And right now we know for sure that Local 32 in their collective bargaining agreement, that will be waived based on what they've negotiated, but Local 26 nor Local 66 are in compliance with this new initiative that the state is imposing on all employers.
So you might be getting double dipped on those, not only paying into their vacation fund, but you may be having to do it on
PTO for those two locals. So okay. The owner is aware, but it will be addressed in the next contract negotiations, but like I think 66, the next time's not till the spring. We don't know how that's going to come out yet. Okay, so we'll kind of keep our eye on that. So that's vacation. So, and that vacation would be... Well, no, this would be sick.
Okay. Oh, that's sick.
It's sick,
okay.
Yeah. So it's like an hour for every 40 hours of work that has to be accrued.
Gotcha.
It's a state initiative, I-1433.
Gotcha. So that's sick.
I heard about that.
So
that's
then,
for everybody though, right?
It's statewide.
Yeah.
Yeah, for all.
Basically going back to sick leave and vacation time.
Yeah, so Erica.
Instead of a combined PTO, you got to separate it, sick and vacation.
Well, we can still have combined PTO. So whatever we currently do, I believe Erica has confirmed that will satisfy the requirements of the initiative. So I think we're still going to have a combined bulk of hours that we draw from as employees on the admin side. But the union side is the two local 66 and 26 that they're not in compliance is what we're.
Gotcha.
Well, we don't, 26 is still on the fence. We're not sure yet, but 66 we know is not in compliance under their current contract language.
Okay.
So we may have to be accruing possibly.
Okay.
That doesn't get negotiated out. So.
Okay, so we haven't really dug into that yet, and we don't have to necessarily do that this week, but at some point in time, we must address it, we must set it up, because the question today was, hey, if I was accruing sick or PTO, would it have my balance printing on my check stub? Remember we looked at the check stub and it didn't have any of that because we hadn't quite set it up yet, told the system, or put any balances in or set up any rules yet. So
we haven't even set it up in Maxwell. We're just finding this out now that 66.
But Maxwell has PTO, but not that little sick thing, correct?
Yeah.
It has PTO. We've not set it up. We haven't utilized it for the union side of payroll before.
For the sick, for the sick or the new rules, because it hasn't been necessary up to this point in time. But you are doing the PTO, and people do have PTO balances. So, and do those? Do you use it or lose it and roll over a certain amount?
And it sucks. It's one of those areas that does not work very well in Maxwell.
Okay.
It's more that you have a max you can get to, and once you get to that max, you don't accrue when you hit that max.
Yep, that's how these systems usually are built, with some sort of maximum. And then do people, do you accrue as you go, or do you get a lump sum allotment? And by that, two basic methods. Either Don's been here over a year, so I get 80 hours, and they give that to me on January 1st, and then I can start eating away at it. Or if I have 52 paychecks in a year, you take my 80 hours divided by 52, and I accrue 1.67 or something each pay period until I get to the 80.
We accrue.
Okay, so that's kind of, so then you accrue as you go, and by the end of your 52 pay periods, you would have got to 80. So,
Can you, like, right now, what's our probationary period? Is it 60 days now for the
For-
admin employees to be able to start using their PTO?
90, I believe.
90, okay. So can you load at 90 days, say like the 40 hours for the first year, and then it start accruing?
sure, we could load like a beginning balance and then accrue on top of that to a maximum or to a limit of X number of hours or something like that.
You want to accrue on top of the 40?
No, timeframe.
Oh,
No accrual for the first 90 days, then start accruing after 90 days.
Then at whatever you would have accrued in 90
For a new
days.
employee.
So we're saying, is it, I don't remember what it is it 40 for the first year? But you can't utilize it
You
for
can't
the first 90 days.
for the first 90 days.
Which is your
yeah.
probationary period. So then what I'm
But
saying.
you're accruing it for that 90 days.
Right, so that's why I was wondering, can you set the system up like at 91 days to show what you would have accrued in 90 days and then have it load and then keep accruing
Continue.
up to the 40 hours for the remainder of that year?
It'll accrue from the time you tell it to up to whatever maximum or something. However, it's not going to stop you because Vista will let you go into negatives. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
It will let you take more vacation than you've accrued.
Will it give you basically a flag that
That'll
says,
pop up a little
hey,
thing
it's
that'll
going
let
to
you
be, but
finish.
you can still override it?
And you can say, yeah, even though Don's only got 40 hours or 16 hours accrued, I asked for 3 days off and I'm taking,
Override that.
and go into a negative as you start accruing to get
So
up
there's
to
nothing
that.
to go by hire date plus 90 days type of thing, and then for them to be able to utilize. So like what you're saying is if they're within that 90-day window and they're going to use PTO, is there a flag that says during payroll that they can't do that?
Well, I don't even want it to show on their check stub that they're accruing it until 91 days. That's what I was curious, if it had the ability to do that.
Mhm.
So that you're telling the system they're in a probationary period. On the 91st day, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I've accrued so far this year.
And then they
And
can
then
start
it
taking it.
continues to accrue up to that 40 hours for that remaining of that year.
So it's, your check stub is a crystal report. And then the question is, do I print the available balance on the check stub or not? Currently not built into that functionality is an if statement that says, if the employee is doing this, then don't suppress it on this check until you get out of the probationary period or something like that. Because as you stated, for the first 90 days, it's going to be accruing that thing. You just can't use it and you don't want it to print on the stub. Does that make sense? But that would be an if statement you'd have to add to the crystal report because the standard functionality is if you want it to be
Okay.
on there, it is be accruing and showing a balance
Yeah.
as you're accruing that thing.
So you have it hide field basically, because
He's
report with an if
looking for-
statement or
It'd
something.
have to be a suppression
Or
that,
suppression.
of some sort of checkbox saying,
Mhm.
if probationary period, then suppress.
Or-
Does that make sense?
Or
Email parameter.
if 90 days